I one day realized I needed to do something for me. I knew I needed to go back to what it was that I was passionate about, which has always been fitness. I interviewed with quite a few franchises, and I just felt like this one made me feel safe. I felt very connected to them. I trusted them.
Today's guest is Courtney Flores. Courtney is a certified personal trainer that owns and operates Fayetteville Fit Body Boot Camp. Courtney has always been passionate about health and fitness since her days of running track and working out in the weight room. Since then, she's helped hundreds of people lose weight and improve their fitness and overall health. She is also passionate about giving back to her community. Her gym participates in an annual Walk for Water food drive, supports the local foster care program, and other local charitable organizations. In addition to running her gym, Courtney also is a wife and a mom to 3 kiddos. And in her free time, she loves spending time with her family, especially outdoors, hiking and biking. So welcome, Courtney, to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, well, I'm excited to do a deep dive into your fit body ownership and also just kind of learn how you balance ownership and 3 children, because that's a lot. And I know those are 2 separate roles that require a ton of time, like I mentioned. So let's first start with, how did you even hear about Fit Body?
Oh gosh. So how did I hear about Fit Body? I basically always wanted to open a gym.
Okay.
Back in college. Can I go like way back?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So back in college, I was finishing my master's program in administration of justice, and I had met my now husband. We both were like very fitness, athletic, that sort of thing. And we knew that one day we wanted to open a gym.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our dream. We graduated, and right after graduating, I had this shiny master's degree and decided to become a certified personal trainer, which was kind of funny. So I did that. And even though we had this dream of opening a gym, we didn't have the resources at the time, of course. We were fresh out of college, newlyweds, so broke. And then we quickly started our family.
Yeah.
So it just got put on
the back burner.
Yeah. Which turned into a very long 15 years, which I'm embarrassed to say, but very long 15 years that it was put on the back burner because I became a mom and I just 100% focused on that. However, I one day realized I needed to do something for me.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be 100% mom, and I thought that's what I was supposed to do, just best serve my children, but I was really miserable in that role at the same time. I put myself in this box, and I wasn't fulfilled in any way. And so I kind of was even getting resentful of it, which is terrible. I love my kids, 100% priority, but I knew I needed to go back to what it was that I was passionate about, which has always been fitness.
Yeah.
So I started researching what franchises were out there. I wanted, being a very busy mom, I wanted the backbone of a franchise.
Right.
So I didn't have to try to do ground up. And I did my research, and when I interviewed with Fit Body, I really kind of fell in love with Bedros and Bryce in the Zoom interview, to be honest. I felt very connected to them. I trusted them. And I interviewed with quite a few franchises, and I just felt like this one made me feel safe, I guess.
It's a good fit.
It was a good fit. And I liked just different parts about it. So that's how I ended up with Fit Body.
That was amazing. And I want to talk about those 15 years where you were really just a mom, because there are so many women today, and me included, where you get in this like the daily grind, and you love it. But then at the same time, at the end of the day, you want something more. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to describe that to someone that's not actually going through it. It's like, how can I put it? I love being a mom. I want to be there for my kids, but I also so much need something else for just me. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, Fit Body kind of became that for you.
It was. I like being 100% honest. I wanted to be that, stay-at-home mom because I thought it was what my kids needed.
Yep.
Not because it's what I wanted.
Yep.
I actually was never like happy in that role.
Yeah.
I did it for a long time, but it's not that I wasn't happy with my children. It sounds
No.
so terrible because I love them more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
But I was miserable, me, because
Yeah.
it wasn't challenging me. It
Right.
wasn't, I wasn't like using any of my potential.
Right.
And I was bored out of my mind.
It's the same thing every day. It's the same thing. It's like Groundhog's Day.
It is. And so I finally, and I was like getting resentful almost of like my husband had his career,
Right.
and I finally just one day realized this isn't actually, for some moms, it might be the right answer because
Right.
they're happy and fulfilled in
Yeah.
that role, but I was not. And I just realized this is not the right thing for me. I'm not serving my children best by doing this because I'm not the best version of me like this.
Right.
And I had done like little work from home, part-time jobs, just to help support our family during that time because I was so bored too.
Yeah.
Like I had to do something.
Right.
But it wasn't my dreams. It wasn't my passion. And so
Yeah.
finally I just realized I can still be a good mom
Yeah.
and do something that I love
Right.
too.
Well, and when you're taking care of you and you're doing something that you love, it spills out into every other area of your life. When
100%.
your kids see you happy, they are happier.
100%.
And like so many studies have been done on that. And it's not just the, moms taking care of themselves. Like, yes, of course, that spills out into areas of your life as well. But when a mom has a career that they love, that they're passionate about, like your kids see that. And like you want to model that for them that like, hey, you can be a mom, you can take care of your family, but then also have a career that you absolutely love that's
I
changing
agree.
the world.
I agree completely. And I think in some ways it makes me even a better mom
Yeah.
because I am
It does.
happier when
It
I'm,
does.
in everyday life.
Yeah.
And I have one girl and two boys. But I love that I'm showing my daughter too.
Right.
You can do it all.
Right.
I really believe that. And I'm hoping that my kids are all three, that they grow up to be leaders and entrepreneurs and,
Yeah.
independent.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love that. You're setting such a good example. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, I want to talk about your journey to ownership. So you decided to do this. Your ownership experience sounds a little bit similar to my husband and I's because he had a passion he wanted his own business. And I had a passion for fitness. And he had the athletic training background as a personal trainer. But we got on the call with HQ and we were just like, this sounds amazing. They're going to help us. They're going to help us on the back end. Like, we don't have any business ownership experience. We don't know how to do any of this stuff, but they're going to help us. So it's going to be okay. Talk to us about like those first 3 to 6 months. What was the most challenging part? What was the most rewarding part?
Oh, the first 3 to 6 months. So before it was open?
Yeah, well, I guess in those beginning stages, either before or when you first opened.
So it was like originally this shared dream between my husband and myself.
Yeah.
However, when I decided to go for it, my husband was so far into his career at this point that wasn't going to change.
Okay.
And he loves his career,
Yeah.
and that's great. But, he also has athletic training, physical therapist background, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And he's doing what he loves, and that's great. But it kind of became like he was 100% supportive, but this was like my thing.
Yeah. Which is scary to do alone.
It was scary. I don't really have a trouble taking risks. I think for me, the hardest part was that guilt, that mom guilt. Not really the risk-taking part. I think I have always been confident in myself that if I decide I'm going to do something, I know I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be successful. I don't feel like there was a time that was super scary. I didn't really love phone sales.
No, nobody likes phone sales.
But I guess the hardest part was really just all the little like crossing your T's, dotting the I's, all that, just getting open.
stuff. Yeah.
Like, because I didn't know anything.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I need a permit to do this. Oh, I need, so it's all the stuff you don't know.
Right.
But the rest of it, I wasn't nervous about.
Yeah.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
great. You have amazing courage. I can definitely say that. And I think your ability to have the courage to take those leaps of faith has helped with your confidence as a business owner, I would say, which is amazing and just speaks volumes to you as a leader, your courage that you have to just take those risks, like you said. Yeah, I did not enjoy phone sales at all in the beginning. I will never forget the first membership that I ever sold was at a Starbucks. I still remember the member's name. Her name was Shernita. And I'm sitting there with this little red folder. So when we first opened, we had this, everyone had their own folder, had like a Fit Body Bootcamp sticker on the outside, and the membership agreement was hidden in there with a few other things. And I remember sitting down with her, and we were like 3 or 4 weeks out from even being open. But I was determined to, and this was way before the rollout plan that FitBody has today. Like this was way before that. So of course you have the support from HQ, but we were essentially doing that beginning, like whatever trial or challenge you were going to run. We were doing that on our own. And so I was trying to sell her this gym membership before we were even open, before we had any equipment. I had never coached a session before. I'm just like, it's going to be great. It's going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be a hit workout. And I remember she signed up and I was like, this is the best day ever. I did. And I was so excited. Yeah. But oh my gosh, those like beginning, those first few meetings that you have and those phone calls with people, it is scary because you're just navigating the unknown, new waters. And I think that was the most challenging part for me. It was just like, trying to sell something that you would have actually never done before, and you were just hoping people would believe in your vision and your mission.
I can see that for sure. I remember the very first call, which was a sale as well, that I made. She's still a member today. She's freaking amazing, and she's had an amazing journey. She's doing great. And I remember being nervous too, partly again, my facility wasn't built out.
Right.
I didn't have a
gonna look
team.
good.
I was like, surely I'll have somebody to help me do this job. And there will be equipment. And so yeah, it was a little unknown, but.
So how has like owning your own business impacted your journey? I guess like, how has it changed your life? Like just having your own business and being your own boss, how would you say it's most changed your life over the last 2 years?
I feel like I'm finally doing what I was meant to do, which is being an entrepreneur. I really believe that was always my path. I kind of dabbled in it even before Fit Body with some businesses I ran from home. They were much smaller scale, they were from home, but I was successful in all of them. And so I feel like that was always my path, but now being fully in it, I feel so much more fulfilled, happier. I'm excited. I don't ever like wake up and think, oh, it's another Monday or whatever. Like I love my life. I really do. And I feel like and that has poured out in every relationship that I have. And it's completely changed. It's completely changed my life.
I love it. Are there any stories, like transformation stories or client stories that you've had at the gym that really helped validate your decision of becoming a Fit Body owner?
Yes. So of course you've got, all of the people who have, lost 20, 30, 50 pounds, and those are amazing stories. But one of our couples, like a husband-wife couple that signed up with us before we even opened our doors, so they've been with us since day one. They are this amazing family. They have 5 children. Actually, 3 of their teenage children are also our members.
Oh, wow.
I know. I remember on the phone with the wife, she's the one who I'd spoken to, who signed her husband up. And I remember her telling me her story over the phone before I even opened, before I could even sit with her face to face. Her husband was in remission from this extremely rare form of cancer that had affected his bile duct and liver, given a very small chance to live, but he did survive the cancer, but his survival rate for post, remission was very low. It was this tragic story. I remember even being on the phone with her, my heart just went out to her. They signed up. She, being a mom of 5 kids, had put on weight over the years. She needed to lose weight. She wanted to get her confidence back. She needed to get stronger. The husband, his body had been ravaged by this cancer and all the treatments he'd been through. So he needed to build muscle and build up his stamina. After about a year with us, he started having all of these problems again with his liver and all of these blockages that were happening because of the different surgeries. And so he had like this port constantly, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
He kept being in and out of the hospital, and it turned out that he was going to have a living donor transplant in order to survive.
Yeah.
Or he literally wasn't going to make it. So a couple of people, his wife being one of them, raised their hands and had to start going through all the extensive testing to see if they could be a donor. The wife miraculously was a match. And so she then had to pass all of these other tests to be deemed, healthy enough to be able to donate. Well, in the year that she'd been with us, she dropped like 30 pounds of fat. She'd put on muscle, all this stuff. She was literally physically transformed.
Yeah.
She was his donor. So this just happened a couple months ago, actually. They had a wildly successful transplant. They recovered like 2-3 times faster than they should have.
Yeah.
And she sends us this letter. They actually just got cleared to come back and start working out again, like about maybe a month ago. And she sends us this letter. It was the most amazing letter I could have ever gotten in the mail, that just was so heartfelt and told me that literally we were the vehicle for this to happen. Her doctors told her if she had not lost that 30 pounds, she would not have been able to donate her liver. Literally, she wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah.
Not only that, but because they'd been working out so regularly, that's why they bounced back from their surgeries.
Right.
So in part, like our facility helped save someone's life. And to me, I was like bawling as I read this letter.
I would be too, yeah.
I don't know that I'll ever have a success story better than that, but
That is amazing.
yeah.
Wow.
I know. I literally, and my husband and I are reading this, and literally it was like, everything we've done over the last 2 years, getting this open and running this for the last year and a half and all that, everything is worth it for this one thing.
Right.
This one person,
Yeah, I was just talking to another owner earlier about how there is no other industry that you could own a business in which your life is completely changed as much as it is through helping other people's lives. Like, if you have a day where you're just like, you're not on, like you're not feeling like doing anything, and you hear a story like that, or you just have one member where you see that they're showing up for themselves and how it's affecting their life, like it is the most rewarding thing. And like there are no other businesses that you could be in that provide that sense of, just gratitude that you have for other people and the way that they're changing their lives. And it truly is amazing.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great story. That's a really good one. Ugh. Okay, so what is one thing that you feel like you're most passionate about today as a business owner, as a Fit Body owner?
As an owner?
Yeah.
I mean,
what is it that you love to do the most? Is it, lead your team?
I do absolutely love leading my team. I love watching them grow and develop and become better coaches and, whatever. Like in each one of them, they're so different. I love my entire team, every one of them. And I just, that makes me really happy, being able to pour into them and see them develop and see their wins. I also really love sales. And I don't mean that in I don't mean that in like a salesy way, but as I've grown into that role, I love getting to sit down with these people and hear their story and be able to tell them, you know what, like, I hear you and everything you've been through, and this sucks, and I know it's been terrible, but it doesn't have to be this way.
Right.
We actually can help you. Like, your life can be a completely flipped upside down. Like, we can do this. And getting to like take them through that and then get them on the right path. So it's sales, but it's like being the person that gets to like start that. I love that.
Well, and I tell our coaches this all the time. Like, you don't need to sell anything. If somebody comes in and they have an amazing experience and you help transform their life, you don't have to sell anything.
Right.
It sells itself.
It does.
It really does.
It does. Yeah.
When they become a part of that community and that fitness family and they buy into the culture and that feeling that they have, then you never have to sell anything.
Yeah. And I think also just knowing, like having so much confidence in
what we do,
what we're doing and what we're providing, and knowing that I'm not actually trying to sell you, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, definitely. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received as a business owner?
I think the Nike, the Just Do It Nikes, for real, because I'm kind of funny where I can either be too quick to make decisions or I can take too, like, I don't have that like nice happy medium. Do you know?
Yeah.
Either I just like without any,
Don't want to make the decision or
I like analyze it to death, you know? So sometimes, because sometimes I feel like I can let fear control me. And so that literally just do it, because some decision is better than no decision.
Right. Oh, definitely. I know my husband always gets on me because he's like, you're not decisive enough. And the other day, my daughter, I can't even remember what I was asking her to decide. It was like two choices that she had. And she kept looking at them and looking at, and I was like, just pick something. And he's like, she gets it from you. I was like, no, she doesn't. It's hard sometimes. Share one of your personal daily habits that contribute to your success.
Okay, so is it really cliche as a fit body owner to say that I work out like, but literally, and this has been since my college days, I work out 5 to 6 times a week, period, no matter what, period.
Awesome.
So, and I think, and you know, I mean, we're talking about 20 years of combined 5 to 6 days a week always. And I think that that has had a huge impact on where I'm at now.
Definitely. Definitely. Again, goes back to, you know, taking care of you and filling your own cup just makes you a better leader, a better mom, better business owner, all around. Yeah. Are there any life hacks that have made a big difference in your life? Or maybe any mom hacks?
Mom hacks, I learned very quickly that I needed to prepare my children ahead of time for whatever it was that we were going to be doing or what was coming. But just life hacks, I think it's funny because my husband years and years ago used to tell me all the time, you should meditate, because I can get kind of stressed out. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And then I actually had a doctor told me, you should meditate.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. So I've been doing this now, like learning meditation and practicing meditation for a couple of years. And actually it does work. It's an amazing life hack.
Okay.
So who would have known that my husband was right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think meditation and prayer actually for me too are just huge. I would consider those life hacks.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely. Any books that you've read recently that you would recommend to our listeners, or any podcasts that you listen to regularly?
I love Craig Groeschel. Love him
He's
and his
great.
podcast, and Ed Milet. So those are my go-tos. I do listen to podcasts daily, and all the books I read are like business and self-help and stuff like that. But I really love those 2 podcasts because it's all about leadership, but also self-growth.
Yeah, definitely. I love Ed Milet's and Craig Groeschel's as well. All right, bonus question. What does living life beyond the scale mean to you?
So I've never cared about the number on the scale. Fitness was never ever about a number on the scale for me. And so I think that finding your real why, it can't be about a number on a scale. You know, I think for me, at least, my real why behind being fit is because I always want to feel strong and independent. And it's that's beyond the scale, right?
Yeah.
Like your real reason why, like,
Right.
as well as all of the non-scale victories, you know, which I think is what we teach at Fit Body. It's like, yes, some of the numbers are important. You need to be at a healthy percentage of body fat and stuff like that. But you need to realize your own potential. You need to feel strong and capable and confident. And I think that's what beyond the scale is.
Well, and a lot of times people say, like, I want to be, 135 pounds. Why do you want to be 135 pounds? And if they can't even answer that question, then their why is not big enough. to get them to that point.
Right.
And so it has to be so much deeper than that. It has to be so much more meaningful than just that number that is on the scale, like you said. Yeah. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for being here with me today. I know that our listeners are going to get a ton of value from this episode. And so please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Leave us a review, please. It is my goal to educate our community on how to live their best lives in and outside of the gym and just spread the word of body positivity off the scale everywhere that we are. Thank you so much for joining us.